Hey, just wanted to make this quick video to talk about some changes that the Coast Guard has implemented in regards to their recruiting and their age limit. So if you didn't know, the Coast Guard is now allowing people up to the age of 42 years old to enlist into the Coast Guard, which is crazy because it was previously around 32 years old for the limit, and then they recently changed it because they were worried about the number of people that were enlisting, so they bumped that up to around, I believe, 35, and now they just released that it's going to be 42 years old. So there's an article that I'm going to be going over, just talking about some of the new changes that they've decided to implement, and yeah, some pretty crazy news here. So let me increase my screen. So there we go. All right, so the Coast Guard removes the barrier to boost recruiting. Coast Guard is adjusting certain eligibility standards to make it easier to recruit qualified candidates in this tight labor market. As you probably know or may have heard, that people are just not wanting to work anymore. A lot of the other branches, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, they have much larger budgets to be able to spend on recruiting. The Coast Guard doesn't have that much of a budget to spend towards their recruiting efforts, so they do have to get a little bit more creative with how they are going to allow people to join the service. So this change allows for more flexibility around requirements regarding dependents, single parents, debt to income, max age, all areas, in order that previously were to discourage other candidates from joining. So the Coast Guard has always been one of the most challenging services to join. I know many people that have tried to join the Coast Guard, and then they tried to join another service, and the other service would pick them up very quickly. Coast Guard has been able to be more selective because so many people have been trying to join the Coast Guard that they had very tight ASVAB requirements, very tight background, criminal, credit, some pretty crazy stuff. I even had a friend that he had about like $3,000 of some type of like student loan debt or credit card debt, and he wasn't able to join. This was a few years ago. Now it seems like it would be much easier to be able to join with the way that they're relaxing their recruiting efforts. So this effort is in part of the Commandant's vision to transform our total workforce by deploying innovative recruiting processes, yada yada, removing so-called barriers to ascension, such as the rule that single parents cannot enlist in the Coast Guard. So apparently, if you were a single parent, you couldn't join the Coast Guard. Now you can. Recruiters often waive requirements like these for promising applicants, but they were selective with who they would use this for. The reason for this is because if you're getting underway on a cutter, or if you have other things that would make it difficult for you to be able to support your mission because you're worried about your kid and you're by yourself, that's one of the reasons why they would do that. So here's a summary of the previous rules the Coast Guard initiative adjusted. So the previous rule, Coast Guard doesn't allow single parents to enlist. The new rule, single parents can apply with an approved waiver. They must provide a notarized document of dependent care to be approved. So again, it sounds like it's kind of the same thing. Before they didn't allow, but maybe they would, and now they're saying, you can apply, maybe you can, but there still are some stipulations there. Debt to income ratio. Officers can have a debt up to 80% of their income. Enlisted are capped at a ratio of 30. So again, if you had any credit card debt or anything like that, you weren't able to join. So it was very challenging. But now it seems that applicants can now have an 80% debt to income ratio. All applicants have an 80% debt to income ratio. Personnel with unsecured debt above 50 of projected pay will be enrolled into a personal finance program. So if you do have some debt, unsecured debt, then you do have to get into a financial plan to help you remove that. Previous rule for the maximum age of 35 to enlist in the Coast Guard. So maximum age of 35 for all of the officer programs primarily. And then maximum age 35 to enlist in the Coast Guard, and then the direct commission, so all of the officer positions, was up to 40 years old. If you wanted to be an aviator, you had to be 34, no older than 34. The new rule is the maximum enlisted age is 42, and raises maximum officer ascension to 41. So previously it was no older than 40. Now it's 41. But the big one here is enlisted up to 42. So it seems like the enlisted workforce is definitely struggling to retain and acquire new people into the workforce. So, and this is from the United States Coast Guard website, and you can also see the All Coast, which is just an official message from the Coast Guard. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about the Coast Guard raising the age minimum to 42 and some of these other new changes. Are you still interested in joining? If you maybe thought that you were at the age cutoff, does this sway you anymore to enlist with some of the new debt to income ratio loosening? So yeah, let me know in the comments and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, and we'll talk to you in the next video.